going to WCW, who was hot. Remember, at this time, WCW is still whooping WWE. So Brett's going to a hot company. And Brett at the time was a hot commodity. Now, WCW fumbled him
horribly.
But that's not to negate the fact that Brett was a hot commodity going into WCW.
Oh, yeah, they got him.
And WCW changed, apparently, too, because of the whole thing. And then, they fumbled Brett. But it changed a lot of things. So when we talk about pivotal heel turns,
yes,
Vince turning on Brett and doing what he did was very, very pivotal in saving Vince's business, hurting WCW's business, and and just it prepared, like I said, it prepared the WWF to higher heights with their Vince McMahon character.
Yeah,
say what you want.
I mean, you can't argue that. You can't
say
argue
what you want. Well, it did.
Yeah, I mean, because with no McMahon versus Austin, no McMahon versus whoever. I mean, McMahon's character to me was just as important as anybody on the main active roster.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, that brings us to number one.
And before you say number one, if you're a wrestling fan, you don't know what number one is. I don't know if I can help you. If you're a wrestling fan, we're going from 95 to 01, and we're talking about the greatest heel turns of all time. If you don't know what number one is, then are you really a wrestling fan?
I don't know how you can call it. Well, as far as a long-term wrestling fan, I don't know how you can consider yourself one. I mean, even my kids know, and they weren't even born during the time.
Exactly.
So even they know.
But spit it out.
Number one, World Order. The NWO is born.
For life.
1996 Bash at the Beach. Hulk Hogan, the bubblegum, cotton candy.
Eat your vitamins, say your prayers.
Drink your milk.
Go to school. Get straight A's.
This
long
is
he ain't black.
The face. Face. He meant that right there. If you don't know, you better ask somebody, because that's a true statement right there. But long he ain't black. Hulk Hogan turns on everybody, not just because this at the time, y'all gotta understand how big this was. This was like Superman all of a sudden joining Lex. Like this was devastating. This was great to some, devastating to others who pretty much looked up to Hogan. They bought all the merchandise. Everything was Hogan. This is our hero. This is because he was presented as Superman. Hogan was wrestling. You didn't think of wrestling without thinking of Hogan, and it was always the yellow and the red.
And my man's with the black and white and didn't look back. And WCW propelled itself to the number one wrestling company for 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. And WCW did numbers off of that heel turn.
Man, it was a must-see show. Because you think about what was combating in 96.
We sure weren't watching Raw like that. Now we watch Raw because we were wrestling fans, but trust me when I say, because you had the tape recorder, so you was recording stuff.
Yeah.
Me, I had to go back and forth, and trust me, there was a lot of nights that I turned on Nitro and I didn't turn back.
There. I mean, because who would you want to see?
Even through the commercial break.
Clang versus Goldust. Oh, you ready to see who the NWO finna stomp out next?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, it didn't matter unless it was a major star on Raw. It was kind of hard to turn because WCW had the cruiserweights. They had so much going on, but that NWO storyline, you didn't know who they was gonna jump next.
Yep.
You didn't know who was gonna join.
Yep.
Who wasn't gonna join. You had Sting in the Raptors. You didn't know what was going on with that. He was stalking them. It's like they built off so much with the NWO, and they ate off because you had I don't know how many incarnations of the NWO, but they ate off that until they couldn't eat off of it anymore. And I mean, they had a whole pay-per-view dedicated to them. It was basically NWO was their own entity.
Yeah.
Within WCW. And I don't think it could have been any more perfectly executed.
Yeah. It was perfect. Like the way, because the way that Scott Hall, Kevin Nash's contract ended after each other, like months. Like I think like a month after each other, or like a couple months after each other. It was like a couple months after each other, and then like who sent you? Like there's no internet for real, so people ain't online like that. So oh man, are they really invading or not? And then who's the third man? Confusion. And then we never think in a million years that it was Hogan. Even him coming out, we were like, oh man, Hogan coming to save the day.
Yep.
And when he hit that leg drop on Macho, man, like I remember my eyes got fucked. And my dad, who's still a casual, my dad still thinks Goldberg can beat Roman Reigns. Like, anyway, my dad.
How he can dream.
When Goldberg coming back, he didn't take that title off of Reigns. Anyway,
on the game, that's the closest he gonna
get. Like I just remember looking, like even my dad was like, well dang, really?
Yeah.
So it was like. I was shocked, and I think right then I fell in love with it. Like I always liked wrestling, but that moment right there, then what followed after that with the NWO stuff, that's when I fell in love with wrestling.
Yeah, because it gave you that whole anything can happen, and when you saw it happen, and the mushroom cloud of creativity that followed. Mm-hmm. It's like, what is there not to like? You saw NWO shirts in the crowd. I mean, to me, for that 2 years, it was the NWO show.
Yeah.
And as much as the Jerichos, God rest his soul, Eddie Guerreros, all the interviews they used to have, anybody who was in the Radicals, anybody who was in WCW at the time, as much as they complained, the NWO was one of the main reasons they were eating.
Yep.
And that's a proven fact.
Yep.
So, like it or not, and our homeboy Carl is the biggest NWO fan in the world. This man think the NWO coming back tomorrow. Like it or not, you gotta give him that due.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan, hey, whether, which is ironic that your stable was black and white. I'm gonna give you credit. For having
I get that credit to National Hall, buddy. I don't get it to him.
And National Hall orchestrated. they put it together. But I mean, if it wasn't for Hogan, because
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and not be realistic. If it wasn't for Hogan, like it wouldn't have worked as well. Like because remember they were talking about putting Sting. Oh, it wouldn't have worked, bro. We would have been like Sting, really, and we would have turned that TV off and left.
Surfer Sting about to turn,
and then wrestling would have still been cartoonish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, because like I said, the heel turn forced WWE to stop playing with us and put out an edgier product. So, like I said, Hogan's heel turn made wrestling for the better. In the early 80s and the 90s, man.
You gotta give him his props.
Yeah.
As much, and it's just like finding out your favorite artist is a sleaze bag.
Yep.
At the end of the day, if you separate the personal life from the professional life on a professional tip, the man made his mark, man.
Yeah.
So
he's number one.
That's your top 5, man. That's your top 5 pivotal heel turns. Now, we're going to hit you with every era, and we're going to come back and we're going to do more. And if y'all have any ideas.
The next one, you don't want to do.
What?
You know what I want to do?
Which era?
I want to do the Ruthless Aggression era.
Okay.
The greatest heel turn, the Ruthless Aggression era. And I'm pretty sure that's like from 02 to 08. Okay. So they went PG in 08.
Okay.
So that's 02 to 08.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our next lineup. And if y'all got a favorite era that y'all want us to circle, let us know. If y'all want us to come back through and hit another one in the Attitude Era, maybe we missed something. Yeah. Maybe we didn't.
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. But in the comments, though, let us. You better not say Marlena and Goldust turn on each other. Something crazy like that.
You better not say Goldberg going heel in 2000. Because nobody even remember that.
And nobody cared. After he got tasered and lost, the world was like, okay, we do it.
Yeah. All right, like, comment, subscribe, man, on CL Cool.
I'm your boy Tez.
We out.
Yeah.